Let's talk about hybrids, and not just any hybrids, the most powerful in the Pacific Rim universe, Obsidian Fury and the creature known as Apex, and which would come out on top if they were ever to face off. Hit like if you think Apex, hit subscribe if you think Obsidian, and if you think it's going to be a draw, just quit being a smartass. Hi, and welcome back to the Inside of My Head, where I'm really looking forward to Pacific Rim the Black Season 2. And if you're likewise, you should probably hit like and get subscribed. I've got quite a lot of Pacific Rim stuff on my channel, which I will link to below, and loads more coming up. And loads of other random stuff too. But let's start with Obsidian. Now, Obsidian Fury was built in 20,378. I've obviously pressed the wrong thing on my keyboard in my notes here.
That's those fat fingers.
I don't have fat fingers.
How'd you get them stuck in that guinea pig's mouth then?
That was a freak occurrence. It was a freak occurrence. Obsidian Fury was built in 2038 as a highly advanced Mark 7 Jeager and served as the blueprint for Shao Industries' Jeager drone program. It was intended to be the new flagship of the new age of autonomous Jeagers, which was set to replace the PPDC's pilot-controlled Jeagers. But for reasons that were unknown at the time, Obsidian goes rogue and attacks Sydney, where the PPDC are about to have a summit to evaluate the new technology. It's engaged by Mark 6 Gypsy Avenger, but escaped rather than be captured when it saw Saber Athena, Valor Omega, and I can't remember the other one, being brought in as reinforcements. After being tracked to a Jeager production facility in Siberia, it faces off against Gypsy again and pushes the Mark 6 Jeager to the brink. And it's only the quick thinking of Jake Pentecost that allows him to rip out Obsidian's power core and Gypsy to win the fight. Once the dust settles, they find that Obsidian is being controlled by the secondary brain of a kaiju. One of Gypsy Avenger's pilots, Amara Namani, observed that the wiring that kept the brain connected to the drone was created by Shao Industries, which is a big clue that Newton was the one that fused it in there to allow Obsidian to be controlled by the precursor hive mind.
Oh yeah, now we can control a big robot. I love controlling a big robot. What are we controlling? The big robot. Are you sure you're part of the hive mind? Yeah.
But let's talk armaments. The first weapon that we see it use is more of a tactical weapon than an offensive one, designed to jam all communications in the area by emitting a pulse from its spine. How they called for reinforcements after Obsidian emitted this tone, well, I mean, Uprising is what it is, you know that. Obsidian also has shoulder-mounted AKM salvo launchers, which pack a fucking wallop, and spikes along its lower arms like Batman, those things Batman has. It has a huge Iron Man-style particle cannon in its chest, and a smaller one mounted on its wrist. But its pièce de résistance are the twin laser chainsaws that can literally cut buildings in half. He's pretty damn strong too, as one of his punches lifts Gypsy clear off her feet, and he's able to contort its body in weird ways as well, like here it rotates its entire torso. I just love contortionists. Contortionist in a fridge. We don't know why, but she's in a fridge. So, Obsidian is one tough contender, there is no doubt about it. But let's look at the opposition. Let's look at what he's faced with. In the Uprising War, a series of breaches opened and clones of Slatterns, Mutavors, etc. were sent through to attack Earth. They were countered by Valor Omega, November Ajax, and many more, as well as 23 drone Jeagers. Most of these were killed in what must have been an utterly vicious battle, but one drone, probably damaged in the fight, survived and went dormant, sinking to the bottom of the ocean to a place that became known as the Boneyard. Then this happened, which I remember reading somewhere was the kaiju blood that Herman Gottlieb found to have special unique properties somehow rejuvenated and transformed this creature. Not only the way it looked, but also giving it sentience and independence from the hive mind. If you want to know more about that, check out my video called Apex Explained, where I go into this further. So that gave us the Apex we know and love. And as a Jeager drone, this creature was equipped with a chest energy beam that was mainly used for opening breaches, but may have had direct offensive uses as well, that we just haven't seen yet, as well as Sidewinder missiles. So already, these drones are no joke. Remember that in the drone attack scene from Uprising, they rip Valor Omega's head clean off and bring down Titan Redeemer by taking out one of its legs. So they're more than a match for the Mark 6 Jeagers. But Apex is something even more special than that. Once revived by these blue things, which I'm pretty sure I read somewhere with the strands of kaiju blood. Did I say that already? I think I said that. Fuck it. It becomes separated from the kaiju hive mind.
Oh my god, he's broken free of the hive mind. Oh my god, he's broken free of the hive mind. I was just about to say that. We know. Because we're all about the hive mind. Oh yeah.
with its primary motivation becoming to feed rather than anything else. Now, as I said in Apex Explained, I doubt that it's suddenly evolved its own digestive system. I just can't really see that happening. To me, the fact that it's hunting and feeding is more like an instinctive thing, something that comes attached with, being a kaiju suddenly. But we haven't actually seen Apex use any of those weapons from his days as a drone, with him preferring to use his elongated razor-sharp claws and multiple rows of teeth. But I'm sure those weapons are still there for him to call on if he needed to. The problem being that once he ran out of ammo for them, the weapons would have to be restocked, and I'm pretty sure he's not bio-producing these things. Like Tobey Maguire and his spiderweb, try shitting out a Sidewinder missile out of your wrist. Anyway, as we've seen with the drone Jeagers, once the kaiju character starts to come through, they start to become more animalistic in their fighting style rather than robotic. And this is also true of Apex, who also uses his agility and his weight in battle. So we have two very tough opponents here. But my main observation would be that Obsidian by far outguns Apex, whereas Apex is a much more animalistic sort of grapple fighter, which is generally just gonna bite and scratch and generally rip and tear. So on the surface, if these two went up against one another, everything to me points to an Obsidian victory. The fact that he can contort his body like this might mean that he can grapple his way out of most close quarter situations as well. And that's a pretty big deal if it's Apex's main strength. I'm pretty sure his shoulder missiles would be pretty much useless against Apex reinforced skin, and the chest particle cannon is fairly easily deflected by Gypsy Avenger's sword here. So I'm pretty sure Apex could withstand a blast of that, at least for long enough to get out of the way or figure out a way to counter. Those laser chainsaws, though, are absolutely savage, and I don't see Apex fending them off for very long, unless it managed to break them somehow like the Mega Kaiju did.
Snappy, snappy.
But on top of all of this, Obsidian has what's called a Prototech shell, an obsidian chrome shielding to fend off any blows that Apex did manage to get in. However, and this is quite a big but here actually, Obsidian Fury has got one big disadvantage in my book, and that's the fact that he's still connected to the precursor hive mind. As I said in my top 5 most powerful Jeager video, if he had a decent pilot, I think he would decimate everything. Like, there's no denying that he's a more advanced Jeager than Gypsy Avenger. There's no way that Gypsy Avenger should have won that fight. But he did, and the only weakness that I can really see is that kaiju secondary brain. And of course, with independence from a hive mind comes tactical adaptability, creative thinking, and by that I mean the ability to set traps and things like that. But I guess the ultimate bottom line to me would be that Apex just seems that much more aggressive. So all that considered, for me, Apex just edges this fight. On paper alone, I would probably give it to Obsidian, but something just tells me Apex would edge this. If, however, you gave Obsidian a proper con pod with proper pilots, let's say Stacker Pentecost, Apex is history. Anyway, you guys, that's just my opinion of how I think this would go down. Let me know what you think. You know where the comments are. Loads more kaiju, mecha, and general sci-fi stuff on the channel coming up, so make sure you're subscribed for that, and I will see you very soon for the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and cheerio, bye! Was it an art project? In which case, what are they trying to say? I just find it all kind of confusing. Like, what are those bananas doing there? They're clearly past their sell-by date. Is that some kind of statement? Or are you just looking at her gooch?